Welcome to the show, everyone. This week, as alluded to last week, we have a placeholder video. This video is a short and easy editorial I'm releasing to stall for a much bigger review I've been working on since early December. I'm trying my hardest to do my absolute best with this one. On top of that, I'm still working on the largest parts of the new channel aesthetic. I know that was all supposed to be released over a month ago, and part of it has been, but the biggest changes are yet to come. I'm almost done. Rather than saying it's going to release at any particular time though, I'm just going to say that it'll be done when it's done. Same with the large review. I'm shooting for as soon as possible though. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you who are into JRPGs have probably heard of the SaGa series. I've actually only ever played one game in this series, and it's widely considered the black sheep. Some people are hardcore fans of it, while most people think it should be avoided like the plague. Unlimited SaGa was clearly an ambitious project, and it succeeds in a lot of ways. Or at least I think it does. I'm not 100% sure, because I've never been able to get more than a few hours in. Why is that? The game is beautiful, it's got fantastic music, it seems to be extraordinarily deep, it has 7 campaigns, cool character designs, and clearly has a deep and expansive mythos surrounding the actual events of the narrative. All of this comes through clear as day. What doesn't come through is how to play the damn thing. Whether you start with the recommended initial campaign following Laura, or any of the other characters, I've yet to find a single tutorial for anything at all. Presumably, the only information offered is in the manual. You know how some games that have super rabid fan bases like Street Fighter, Smash Bros, Dark Souls, Final Fantasy, XCOM, etc. can have tons of super in-depth facts detailing every little facet of their design? You know, you can find flowcharts, graphs, 3,000 long word descriptions of how to tackle a single challenge, frame data, blah blah blah. Well, last time I checked, Unlimited SaGa had those too. But it's also the first time I've ever seen a game where these facts are entirely required in order to dive in. Some would argue Dark Souls is that way, but aside from the fact that I disagree, that would largely be because of the challenges it presents you. Unlimited SaGa is so devoid of mechanical direction for the player that you can't even get that far. These guides are designed to teach you how the game functions. I've had other games that I find it difficult to complete for various reasons, games that feel impenetrable in some ways. Demon's Souls was like that the first few times I tried starting and restarting. I've never gotten more than 5 or so hours through Final Fantasy Tactics, because I'm just not adept at tactical RPGs. But in those games, I can at least eventually pick up on where I'm going wrong. I can reread something to catch on to a mechanic that I didn't before, or experiment to the point of reaching a revelation. I can restart now having more context for the information presented in the tutorials, allowing me to understand them better. None of that happens in Unlimited SaGa. So this game is a JRPG, just like the rest of the SaGa series, but it couldn't be more unique in not only the series itself, but in the entire JRPG genre. Unlimited SaGa is first and foremost presented as a board game. That's right, towns are represented as menus and pictures. Exploration is done with a game piece that's supposed to be your character and is separated into turns where you move one space at a time. Each time you take an action, everything else on the board does so too. Time essentially only moves forward once you've finalized an action. Battles, meanwhile, are traditionally turn-based at the core, but they don't play quite the same as other games. In Unlimited SaGa, losing all of your HP doesn't guarantee death for you or your foes. Instead, everyone also has a certain amount of LP, which, when depleted, will then leave them KO'd. What does LP stand for? I don't know, I couldn't find anything that told me. I would assume it means life points though. Well then, what's HP for if LP is effectively your life? Well, as far as I can tell, and keep in mind that this is only an assumption, having more HP lessens the chance of an attack taking any LP. Think of it like the special missions in Tekken or Soul Calibur, where you can hurt your enemy all you want, but they won't take any real damage until you, for example, knock them up against a wall or hit them while they're airborne. The problem is that Unlimited SaGa does nothing to explain how you raise your HP and LP damaging potential, nor how you defend better against enemies doing the same. Sometimes an enemy can have presumably no HP left, and an attack will do like 100 HP damage and 1 LP damage to them. The next round, it'll do 650 HP damage and no LP damage. And again, there's no in-game explanation I could find for why this happens. The other major feature of battle is your ability to do tougher attacks and combo attacks with a pseudo-slot-style reel system. You pick all of your attacks before the turn starts, and then the reel for the first attack will show up. You have two choices here. You can play the slots and initiate the attack by itself, hoping to land on a blue spot for a special version of the attack. Or you can press triangle to hold the attack. Holding the attack seemingly eliminates the chance of landing on a blue spot for that slot, but also allows you to chain the attack with the next one in line. When you do this, there are green and red numbers next to each subsequent attack that are probably supposed to signify something. What? I don't have a clue. I think they may be your current HP value versus the amount of HP the attack will consume if you choose to hold it. After all, each attack seems to have an HP consumption value next to it in the menu, but holding doesn't seem to take any HP away from the characters, nor does attacking. And even when I have plenty of HP, my combo can still be interrupted. That's right. When you try to combo attacks, there's a chance that it'll be interrupted. This means that you get your current chain of held attacks off, but the enemy gets to attack as well during the combo. And I believe any attack, friend or foe, that is dished out during the combo also gets bonuses depending on the combo rate of the chain, which is shown in the bottom right corner. What does the combo rate mean, and how do I raise or lower it? I don't know. If interruptions are based on the stats of the enemy, where do I find information on said enemies to prevent said interruptions? Without understanding any of this stuff, you're basically at the mercy of the game and the few things that you do understand. I know that most of my weapons and armors have limited durability. I don't know whether that durability is per dungeon and refills at towns, or if it goes down permanently. I don't know whether I can repair them or not, or how to do so. I don't know how long they last either, but I do know they will break if some sort of conditions are met. So naturally, I try to use them sparingly, meaning most of my attacks are punches, kicks, and throws, with weapons used primarily against tough enemies or in emergencies. I don't know if these are good or bad attack choices and tactics, or if that's what the game expects of me or not. I know that weapons can gain abilities over time, and sometimes your characters will randomly use a special version of an ability, unlocking a blue icon on the slot reel, so that you can henceforth do that special ability anytime you land on a blue icon. But I don't know whether any of these affect the speed, power, or combo chance of my attacks. I hardly even know what these attacks do and how they differ from each other, because the description of most of them is as simple as attacks one enemy, or attacks all enemies. Your character gains abilities when they finish a dungeon, but I don't know if these character abilities consume anything other than a turn when used. When in towns, some shops let you buy items, while others will only trade their stock with other items you have in your possession. But I don't understand the requirements for trading at all, because I don't get how the game calculates how valuable an item is. I also don't understand some of the abilities you can use in town. Why would I ever need an ability that allows me to buy items at a higher price than listed just to show off? How is that useful? Please tell me, because I want to know. What's unique about being a carrier, and how is it different from doing normal side quests? Can any character become a character? If so, then how? Because I get turned away immediately if I try to access any of the guild halls unless my character starts as a carrier. The exploration segments aren't any easier to figure out. The combination of traps, your ability sets, roaming enemies that may or may not attack if you land on the space they're inhabiting, and the severe lack of any explanation for the controls makes these exploration segments really, really confusing to navigate well. The game never tells you that you can refill your HP by resting for a turn when you press L3 or R3. It doesn't tell you that you can disarm traps, unlock chests, pick fights with enemies, pick up items, or open chests by scrolling over to them when in the skills menu. You're likely not even going to see that there are icons for each of these actions in the top left corner. These are icons that you need to move between before you can interact with anything. Use a skill without being on the right icon, and you just wasted a turn doing absolutely nothing. Or at least I think, because I couldn't even find a way to figure out what turn I'm on without wasting a turn on one of the various road guide skills, which are skills that I don't know what they do either. Apparently, pressing quit allows you to save while exploring. Why doesn't it say save and quit then? There was something in the menus I read about a certain ability helping you retain more magic power over time. What does that even mean? I haven't seen a single other thing that references magic power in the entire game. There's no MP cost or anything that I can find for abilities. There's EP, but I don't know what that is because I can't find any reference to that either, outside of when looking at ability costs in battle. So maybe this magic power conserving ability is actually about preventing enemies from cutting your magic stat with debuffs. But then why isn't there a similar ability for things like speed, strength, etc.? And don't even get me started on the menu system. You cannot access the menu when in town or in battles as far as I can tell. You can only do it when in an exploration board. But you might not even know that you have a menu system outside of the skills, items, equipment thing that's always on screen when you're in a dungeon. Why would you assume that there's an entirely different menu when you've got a comprehensive one already right in front of you? Indeed though, if you press triangle, there's a ton of other stuff to look through. Status. I can't even. It tells me a bunch of stuff that has charts, but none of this means anything to me. What do any of my stats or ability levels mean? Why are any of my abilities on this hexagonal grid thing? What do the colors of them mean? And why do my stats change and intersect across my abilities in different ways depending on the category I'm in? I don't know what any of this does, and none of it is clickable or interactable. Magic tablets? Well, I picked up a magic tablet, but I couldn't get anything on the magic tablets section to work. It just kept telling me that I needed a magic tablet. Character position makes sense, though I have no clue why I need to change the order of my characters, since I can make any of them attack in any order, and any amount of times during a turn. If I want just one person to attack over and over again, I can do that, regardless of what position they're in. There are no rows. Changing the order of my characters doesn't protect them in any way that I can tell. Main attack setting, likewise, allows you to choose which set of attack choices you start on in battle. Every weapon and accessory you have equipped has its own selection of abilities you can siphon through. At least that makes sense, but it's kind of pointless. Ability help presumably tells me what every potential defensive ability in the game does, in extremely vague terms. But panel bonus, skills and arts, and sort combos, I have zero idea what they're actually for other than just checking information. In sort combos especially, I assumed that it would log any effective combos I found, and then I could reference them for later. Nope. At least, I don't think so. It logs absolutely every turn done while playing, and caps out at like 10 before deleting the logs starting from the oldest ones as you get new ones. This includes combos where enemies interrupt and attack you. You can then reorder and save these combos. Why would I ever need to save a record of a combo where a very specific enemy, in very specific circumstances, interrupts me? I'm sure it's something I do need to know, otherwise the game wouldn't store that information for my perusing. But what in the hell is it used for then? Is this telling me that certain attack/hold choices in battles will always result in the same outcome when facing the same enemies? If so, then where are all the stats on my enemies that should be a companion to this? If so, then why doesn't it tell me what enemies made those interruptions? Why would I need that anyway? Because this game seems to have so many enemies that storing 10 combos would never, ever be enough to help me much. Please game, tell me something, tell me anything. I bought this game years and years ago for like $4. It has beautiful art and music, seems extraordinarily deep when it comes to mechanics and content, and has easily one of the most strikingly beautiful logos I've ever seen. Like seriously, look at how gorgeous that is. And the game is so unique too. I want to love Unlimited SaGa. I want to immerse myself in it. I want to know how to play it. But I don't want to read an encyclopedia of tutorials online written by who knows who just to do it. I shouldn't have to either. Every time I put this game in, I hit the same roadblocks. I've started and restarted this game with different characters like a dozen times, and yet I still have no clue how to play it at all. If you ever see me review Unlimited SaGa, it will be because I was able to beat every single story. I don't review games that I don't finish, which includes exploring a fair amount of the endgame content, basically everything that's not super duper grindy or super unfair, or super repetitive. If you ever see me review Unlimited SaGa, it will have been one of my greatest accomplishments in gaming, because as of now, it seems utterly impossible.